Good morning and welcome to Practicing Awareness Through Compassion. What does that mean? How do you practice awareness through compassion? We don't even know what compassion means. We think it's empathy, being empathetic. That's not compassion. We have to go to the movies to see what compassion means. So let's look at a movie I watched last night, Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself. I'm Ed Conley, and I have been practicing awareness all my life, since the 50s. I have no rank, I have no credentials, I have no authority, no degrees, but I do have a practice. So let's share that here with you. So let's look at Denzel Washington and the Man on Fire and why that movie demonstrates compassion. Compassion can't be described. You can ask Jiminy on Facebook what compassion is, and Jiminy will tell you what compassion is, but that's not compassion. Compassion is demonstrated as a sacrificial act which does not rest on the fruits of its action. And this compassion can take many forms. In the movies, it's usually a sacrifice of your person to save another. Or it could be the sacrifice of your beliefs. It could be the sacrifice of your opinion. It could be the sacrifice of your posture, your rank, your position, your authority. Compassion is humility. Compassion is penitent. Compassion is a sacrifice of your viewpoint of what reality is. Compassion is therefore empty. Compassion is therefore not knowing. It takes many, many forms and is demonstrated in all of our arts and novels, epic stories, and it's demonstrated in our politics. Before I get to Denzel Washington, just take a look at politics. The office of the president is a sacrificial office. In order to be president, you have to give up your personal wealth. You have to give up your persona, your personal identity. You become Mr. President or Mrs. President. It's like being a monarch. You have to give up your everyday life, your personal life, to be the king. All of our stories are about this sacrifice of those who do it and those who don't. Trump didn't make the sacrifice from the beginning. He didn't give up his wealth. He didn't give up his personal power. He didn't make the sacrifice. And we're suffering the consequences. But anyway, let's get back to the movies and the Man on Fire. So compassion is a fire that burns up your personal investments, that burns up your personal identity, that burns up the fruits of your actions. See, compassion is a fire that burns up your belief in reality, in what's real. That act, that sacrificial act, is done without fruits for your action. This goes back to the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is caught in a dilemma. He is a warrior, but his country is in a civil war where families fight against families, just like in our civil war. And so his duty as a warrior is to fight, but he sees the dilemma. If he fights in this civil war, he'll kill his teacher, he'll kill his brothers, he'll kill his family. So he doesn't know what to do. Nothing he can do can get out of this, you see. He's in a fix where nothing he can do is any good. And doing nothing is no good. What does he do? He performs the act of humility, and he goes to his charioteer, who is God in disguise, Krishna in disguise, as a humble charioteer. But in his dire straits, Arjuna recognizes Krishna in his charioteer, and he bows and asks Krishna for the teaching. What is the way out of this dilemma? Do I give up being a warrior? That's what Krishna thought. He threw down his bow and arrow. I quit. Krishna says, no, no, no. You must do your duty. Your duty is your duty in your case is that of a warrior. I mean, it could be a merchant, it could be a wife or a husband, it could be the duty of a student, it could be many duties. But his duty was that of a warrior. So you have to fight. But how can I fight without killing my family? And so Krishna gave the teaching. So the whole teaching of the Gita is different ways for Arjuna to see how to get out of this dilemma. And the basic teaching of Arjuna is to act totally with heartfelt energy and do your duty without concern to the fruits of your action. Do your duty, do your action without concern to personal gain. This is compassion. Compassion is an act that disregards personal gain. And all the movies are about this. Most of them, the good movies. The hero experiences a dilemma out of which he cannot get with normal recipes, with normal teaching. Because the normal teaching of the world is always concerned with what you're going to get out of it. Even if you just get a little bit, you see. You got to get something. You can't do an action without concern to some fruits, some benefit, some fame, some riches, some wealth. Just a little bit, we may ask. That's all I want. Just a taste. But the sacrificial act of compassion is without concern for any fruit. And how can you do that, you see? So we try to do that. This is the whole problem of the imitation of Christ. Well, Christianity is about the imitation of compassion. Not the act of compassion, but the imitation of compassion. So you get like Jesus. You get like Christ, you see. You imitate Jesus. Or whatever religion. Or you imitate Buddha. Or you imitate the Guru. This is the trap where we want to be compassionate, but we want to get a little personal gain out of it, you see. I got to get something. I have to retain that sense of separate self, that sense of being unique, that sense of being special. So in Buddhist Zen stories are all about this question. When Bodhidharma came to China in the 5th century, Emperor Wu met this man, this sage from India, and he asked him, "Honored sir, I have been supporting Buddhism in China for all my life, creating monasteries, spreading Buddhism. Is there any merit for my action?" And Bodhidharma said, "There is no merit," and walked off. What? All right, let's continue this talk this morning. What is compassion? And why can it be? Why is it demonstrated and not defined? Thanks for dropping in. Now subscribe and kick these talks down the road here. You never know what you're going to find.